The last time we had played, after fighting your way through numerous living spells in the ruins beneath the waves, you'd made your way to the top of the tower, where, after silencing the construct bell apparently responsible for the creation of the living spells, you came face to face with their creator. A humanoid shape emerged from the living resilient sphere, one that Vidar seemed to recognize, at least somewhat, considering his reaction to the sight of his former colleague and friend. Corinne's body appeared to have transformed in a strange, inhuman way, merged with slivers and strands of silver, which you realized upon closer inspection yourself was also killing her body extremely fast. In worse state than her shape, however, was her soul. You found it utterly annihilated, understanding where Vidar's apparent pain seemed to stem from, and only shreds of her mind and personality seemed to cling to her mortal form. Having gleaned the hopeless state of his friend, Vidar had already begun to make preparations to leave, urging you to do the same, even as you questioned him on his inaction. However, instead of leaving or killing Corinne, you instead made a wish. Overcasting and risking the debilitation of never being able to cast wish again, you wished. You wished for something almost impossible, something that may only be in the reach of a higher entity or being. And so, the god of magic, knowledge, and time responded to your call. In the familiar halting of time, Creon appeared, amused as always by actions he says were already set in time. Creon offered to fulfill Evelyn's wish, but demanded an exchange, an ordeal you would undertake for him whenever called upon, risking your own soul to take another, all in exchange for the remaking of this soul, Corinne's soul. You agreed, and her soul was remade, merging her past soul with the threads of her current, placed securely in the silver and gold orb Corinne had been holding at the time as a vessel. As her empty husk slumped over, almost everyone was left with shock and disbelief at what had just occurred. The surge of magic that flowed from you and the spell you'd cast with it. And this is also where we ended last session, as you'd returned to the airship, and after some conversations cut short for now, you settled in for a long rest and leveled up against my better judgment. This is also where we begin today's session. With many new ideas and plans of your own, you awaken in the late morning. The dart is currently in full flight, parting the clouds as it returns to its original route along the skies. And you are free to go about your day. What is it you do as you wake up?
Probably just start to collect on the upper deck and see where we're at. Can you ask Vidar some stuff?
I'm gonna check on Vidar too.
As you'd climb up the spiral staircase, you'd see Vidar familiar in his usual position at the helm. As you walk up to the top deck, there is a short glance Vidar throws you. While he doesn't say anything immediately, you can see then the questions that went unanswered yesterday still hang heavy in the air.
Mm-hmm. For now, I'm just gonna observe, but like I'll wait for a little while for other people to collect and just kind of like get a sense of where are we, like out the window and stuff. I don't know if Evelyn and Huxley are coming, but I would give them the opportunity if they wanted.
Evelyn. Evelyn would probably initially busy herself with checking on Vint. Giving herself something to do and distract herself as she processes and thinks through some things.
Red, can you go ahead and roll me a perception roll?
Sure.
Oh, 8.
Okay. As you look outside, you see the clouds fly by. It almost appears like the dart is going slower than usual. Sort of the same speed as you were when you were out and fighting on the top deck.
Okay.
I would like to offer Vidar. Want me to take the helm for a while? You've been on it since yesterday, and I don't really understand what happened yesterday, but it feels like it was kind of important to you, so maybe you want some time for yourself.
Vidar pauses for a long while before he answers you. It's all right. If I were not to take the helm, I do not know what I would be doing currently.
Look, I still don't understand what happened yesterday, but I understand the sentiment. I'll let you do your thing then. So right,
To
what's...
understand
oh.
what exactly happened, we need to ask someone else.
Well,
So, right, yeah, I just nod towards Vidar and move over to
Right.
Red. So what's going on outside? Anything?
looks like we're going a little slower. But I'm sure that we'll come to everything that happened yesterday at some point. And it's not like I have a perfect picture on it either.
I'm slowly bringing us back on course.
Okay. Incidentally, do you still... I know at that one point you had a newspaper from Polythreme, even when we were far away. Do you still keep contact with anybody as to how magic or the loss of it affected the city? I was just curious.
I had given thought to contacting a few people, especially after our crash.
Yeah.
But given our current distance, it seems unlikely we would reach anyone.
Yeah. You think there's some light in between us and them at this point?
Most likely. Almost certainly.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Okay. In regard to what happened yesterday and our course, I would think it would be wise to attempt to resurrect, reincarnate your friend sooner than later. Although neither I nor I think Huxley has the necessary components. I don't know if you know of anywhere near our course where we could get something like I think Huxley said oils, or for me, a very large diamond. But, and that's hiding there's a body, which I don't even know. Might be complicated.
There is a long silence from the Darwin, where he seemingly just stares ahead out the window, holding on to the wheel. The oils you require. If I understand correctly what you're trying to do, should be in the ship's hold unless their containers had broken. But I did not see a spill, so...
Okay. That's... Well, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, probably not exactly what a druid would have in mind. But they should work for your needs.
Well, that's some good foresight on your part, but I suppose that should be expected.
They were intended for a different purpose. But they should work.
Will that be a problem if they were
No.
for something else? Oh, okay. I'll talk to Huxley whenever Huxley's around. Is Huxley around?
Yeah, he would probably just be the least shaken by yesterday's events, just kind of confused.
I actually want to talk to Huxley about something anyway. Yeah, let me get Huxley and I'll grab Huxley and then try to start going through the. Well, first of all, good morning, Huxley.
No.
So Vidar says that some special oils and stuff needed that you mentioned yesterday are actually could be around here or something pretty close in the hold.
Okay.
So that's good. So if you want to help me look for those, we can look. But we might need to talk to Evelyn about like piecing together some kind of body. She seems good at that.
Getting a body?
Well, yeah. Don't you need like a body for?
I need a piece of it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I got the piece. Then.
Then the magic will make a new body.
Oh, okay. Nice. So what kind of... Yeah, I'm not worried about it. No, that's fine. I'm sure Vidar will be happy either way. So I suppose we're going to start like going through the hold and checking on things. And eventually see that Evelyn's also down here working on stuff.
She's not being quiet. She's just kind of moving
Yeah.
around, inspecting Vin's joints and things like that.
Is Vint coming back together all right?
Oh, yes, he seems all put back together.
Nice. I'm trying to work. So okay. I talked to Vidar briefly. He, of course, has his questions, which I'm not going to answer. But that's up to you. Huxley and I are working on a reincarnation, I suppose. Vidar said there's some oils that could be of use to us, so that's something we could work on today.
That would probably be ideal and easiest way to get clear answers onto what happened.
Yeah. Well, and I figure sooner is better with stuff like this.
Normally.
Yeah. He also said that he does not have any connection back to Polythreme to check on how the whole no magic affected the city. So I don't know. I mean, I considered it a little last night, but I don't really know if we should think about doing anything more. I mean, I'm of course worried about everyone sleeping, but I don't know if they still are or if something changed. So, anyway, in regard to what I was saying yesterday about wishes, I don't even know if that makes sense without knowing a little bit more to try to help everybody.
Right. Best to make sure that we know the full scenario before
Yeah.
dabbling in anything like that.
That being said, I am fairly certain that my own ability to create and will creatures into various shapes has improved with our actions. So I have an idea for Huxley later, if you want to help me.
I can assist in whatever way you need.
Nice. I want to make sure that Huxley gets this done first, though, just in case.
Hopefully for the best again.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Beggar, is it easy enough to find those what I was talking about as we search?
As you start looking through the supplies that you have available, some of which you've already sort of gone through as you were looking for parts to eventually potentially build a sail and a rudder, you'd know that a few of the barrels, especially the one that you hadn't emptied out for the water that you had needed, do contain oil. There are two sources of oil that you find. One in vials in one of the metal crates, and one simply filling the insides of one of the barrels. Huxley, can you give me a Arcana on nature check?
I assist Hux.
Yes.
Do I get the advantage of checks?
Nice.
19!
Is that
If you
just a
open
straight roll
the-
for you?
Yep.
Nice.
As you open the larger of the barrels, the wooden barrel, you can smell this distinct smell of machine oils. Something you're fairly quickly aware would not work in conjunction with your very nature-bound druidic spells. The oils contained within the vials, however, seem to be much more along the purposes you would need.
These ones work. I think.
Right. Is there anything else you need?
I just need a lot of oil.
Is this like a
1,000 gold worth of oil.
Do the oils seem expensive? They're in the vials?
Just from the fact that they were kept in the metal box and their general make of bottles, sort of more tempered glass, you'd imagine they're probably fairly expensive. You're not exactly sure how much worth 1,000 would be. But you know, with a spell, you'd probably rather overshoot than under.
So there seems to be an excess of 1,000.
Most likely.
I guess I grab whatever I estimate is a good
Mhm.
amount.
You grab a couple of bottles.
Is there any like help you need with like a? Do you make a mold for this and like pour it in? I don't know how this goes.
I need,
Probably
well, I
clear
need
some space.
yeah, and a piece of their body.
And possibly use one of the rooms.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, we don't want to like freak anybody out.
Be easier if we were like underground. It's weird in this metal.
Okay. Wow. Well, I mean, I could put up the mansion. That's kind of like, is that close enough to ground? I mean, it's real when it's up.
Eh. Well, but it's still not the ground. Like earth, or stone, or you know.
Oh, okay. So like, it would be better if we landed.
But I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, well, I mean, we want to make sure this goes right. I mean, we could talk to Badar about where we are. I don't know where we are. I'm sure he wants it to go right as well. Do you want to ask or?
Okay. Let's walk up to a torch.
I guess we go. Just we're gonna walk up to Badar. I don't know.
Where did we put the soul? The ball.
I've just been carrying it
Okay, so you still have it.
like under my arm.
Yeah, that's fine. I just was trying to figure out who had it.
I did not put it in my bag.
That's fair.
As you all file up to the top deck, Dar again shoots you a short glance, realizing that you've all gathered. You found everything you need.
Holds up the vials.
As he looks over to you again, you can see that his gaze sort of wanders past you and sits for a while on Evelyn.
Did you just move away from Evelyn?
What? No. No, I was just trying to straighten my token. I'm sorry.
No,
It was
didn't do
unintentional.
that. The timing made
Yeah,
me
yeah,
chuckle.
yeah.
Evelyn meets his gaze, but doesn't speak up at the moment.
There is sort of an intensity to his look. Almost expectantly.
Evelyn will go ahead and telepathically connect to Vidar. Are you prepared for this?
There are still questions that remain unanswered.
When it will likely be easier to get a clear picture of what occurred from Corinne herself.
Those are not the kind of questions I mean.
It seemed important to you.
You've never been the kind to be overly considerate. I had understood such a course of action if I had begged it of you. But without so much as a question to risk what you've risked.
It seemed like the right move to make at the time.
And do you still think so?
The price was a hefty one, but I believe it's still beneficial and the right choice.
Well, is somebody gonna say something?
I know, and the rest of everyone else is just standing around
I
as they're.
won't interrogate you on your motives. You do not work for me, nor I for you. It is a partnership. And I generally trust your judgment. But I hope you won't come to regret this price you mentioned.
As do I. But I understand. This has always been a partnership, and I expect nothing else.
His eyes sort of loosen from you, going back to Huxley.
Everyone will drop the telepathy.
You're holding about 3,000 golds worth of oil.
Sheesh.
Half of what you're holding should probably be enough.
Um, okay.
Don't just drop them.
Why would I do that?
I don't know. I just had a sudden feeling.
Well, like, very slowly put them down on the ground very carefully while looking at Vitar.
I can just put them back in that container. Okay, I'll take those. Thank you. Boop boop ba doop. There we go.
Here we land.
We could certainly take the dart down. Is there something you'd need from the water?
It's just better to cast on the ground outside.
We are fairly far from ground, unless you'd want to turn back and return to the volcano.
It should be fine. I could just go outside.
Below us you'd find the water surface, if that is enough for you. We can certainly land the dart in the waves.
Yeah. That works.
You see Vidar turn back towards the podium and flip a single lever. Shortly whereafter you feel not a lurch, but a slight hole in your stomach as you can feel the dart begin to descend.
Emlyn will glance over to Rhett. And kind of quietly suggest, perhaps see if you have any spare clothing available if it's needed.
Yeah, of course. Yep. I So I have your spare clothing available, but I don't exactly know what size. I'll get some of the various things from. I'm just gonna go and get like blankets and the spare this and that. Like I have a few spare shirts of my own.
As
But yeah,
you
look at
collect a couple of things, as a few minutes pass, outside through the windows you can already see the sort of flat plane of water come closer and closer. At this point you can see it well reaching to the horizon as the dart slowly begins to part the waves. There is a bit of a splash as the white of the wave sort of foams around the edges of the dart as it descends fully to the waves and comes to a relative stop. Still softly gliding along the waves, but with no further power propelling it forward, and the doors towards the outer deck open. Almost immediately there's this rush of air as the somewhat stale air inside is replaced with the strong scent of the ocean.
Yes, Huxley marches outside.
Emlyn will follow along as well.
Red.
So kind of just look around, like, how to do this.
Before Red follows outside, I want to have a really quick talk to Red.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I've been really patient and I'm totally accepting, and I trust you guys with anything. But I have no idea what has happened since yesterday. Everyone is talking about hefty prices and high risks that have been taken. And you and Evelyn have been in each other's faces yesterday, like I haven't seen you before. That was kind of a frightening thing to see, and at some point I would really appreciate some kind of insight,
right.
if possible.
Is everyone else far enough away?
Yeah, probably.
So, Evelyn cast Wish, like the
Like the gene.
spell that grants wishes. Like, yeah,
Oh, not Jean, but the creature that the evil Jinn, basically. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
She can do that.
Well, no, not.
No, I'm even more confused.
But I mean, yes. Okay,
And don't know magic.
I helped a lot.
Oh, it was like a cooperation spell kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
But I just don't think it exactly perfectly went the way that. I'm not an expert in the field. If I understand what the wish spell is, you can do a whole lot of things. Once you start getting into things that like overlap what a genie or a god could do, sometimes they have something to say about it, is my understanding. So maybe I don't know what happened with the wish in that regard. Apparently there was a price.
Okay.
I would guess it would be from some being like a genie or a god.
So what you're saying, like in those few seconds yesterday, she met or talked to a being or god or whatever, while we were just standing there.
That seems most likely to me. You should ask her. I'm not going to say that happened because I don't know. I know that she cast a spell
Okay.
wish.
Okay.
I know that wish sometimes comes with a price, but not always. Sometimes you're strong enough just to do it on your own.
So and
Maybe-
Vidara is
maybe there's
confused
something-
why she did it.
I guess. Maybe there's something that we're not seeing that she's already paid. Sometimes that happens with Wish. She seems okay to me, though. I don't know. It opens up a lot of possibilities, though, obviously.
I mean, it could be like
If
with
it's
me
something
when
we could do.
when all of a sudden I couldn't remember stuff. And it was a price that I had paid, which I didn't know I had paid. You know,
Yeah, that could be. Yep, I don't.
could be something like that. Okay. Well, I still have no idea why she did it, but at least I know what happened at least a little bit now. Thank you for letting me know. That was very confusing. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Sorry. I think it freaked Vidar out a bit. Well, which, I mean, Wish tends to do that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, yeah, I guess in the sense that I was not freaked out, but really excited. But it's a big power to have. So it opens a lot of possibilities, but also dangers, which is why we had our little spat, I think.
Yeah, it seems there's so much risk and like stuff to
Yeah.
pay. It seems
Maybe.
even.
It feels like a big maybe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Evelyn would have probably different opinions, but you know, she's the one that paid it, not me necessarily. So I guess I don't know about everything.
Who does?
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for letting me in on this. At least now I mean, I was worried
mean,
before. I feel like now I know why I'm worried, because it seems like I have good reason to be worried about this everything here. Because, like, you know, I always told you guys I don't like Vidar and whatnot, but
Mhm.
seeing him so shook, there was
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Even I felt really
I
bad.
feel like I'm missing something as well.
Yeah, it was
'Cause
like
I don't
weird.
I don't quite understand. Or
Seeing him so
Evelyn's
shook was the
response.
first time I didn't not like him. I really felt bad for him, and I don't want to feel bad for him. I want to hate him. So I hope this never happens again. If that makes sense, you know.
I mean, he's not that bad. I mean,
See, that's what I
Without his
fear. That's what I fear is true,
Right.
and I don't want to believe it.
okay. Well, I don't know how to respond.
Deep inside, deep inside me, I have the fear that that might be true, and I'm afraid it could be true. So let's not talk
Notice
about it.
eyes.
Evelyn is also glancing back at this point.
Yeah, that's fine.
Not
I don't
overthinking
know.
things for Evelyn, mostly because you are probably still carrying the part of the body
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Yeah.
is needed.
Sorry, I didn't mean to delay it. I was just explaining to Silas a little bit. Just the basic magic stuff.
Just get a feeling what was going on.
Yeah,
Sorry for
just
holding
checking.
things up.
Sorry.
And it's Hux that needs to do things, so
Yes, here you go, Huxley. Sorry, here's all the parts.
The body parts.
Here's all the parts.
Well, here's the soul part, and here's the, I don't know,
Oh,
skin flap part. Ooh.
Flap, flap, flap.
You say ew out loud.
Yeah, kind of. I like pull it out, having stored it somewhere. I'm like, ooh,
Okay.
right, I did that. Okay. And Silas just didn't even understand that we had cast a wish to do that, which is anyway.
fair.
Still don't know what that even is, but I go with it for now. It's fine.
Yeah. That's also what I said is I don't think anyone but you, looking at Evelyn, understands exactly what happened, which is that's okay.
But I don't want to distract Hux by any means.
No, yeah.
He's just concentrating in the background. Everyone's like mumbling to each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're just being used as a decoy at the moment for the conversation.
I feel like Hux is being good at like doing that to themselves.
So you think like doing this in the water means it'll be a mermaid come back or something? I don't understand the whole being close to the ground thing.
Probably more in tune with Hux's source of magic.
Well, we're not anywhere near the blight, so you know. I mean,
The Hux
That's a
had
joke, that's a
suggested
joke.
that it's more from trees.
yes, I know.
Hugs is like first taking a candle out of one of his pockets and then lights the candle and puts it like next to him, and then he like grabs into one of his pocket and like looks around and it just comes out with like a pile of dirt that he will place on the other side of him,
Mm-hmm.
and then he'll start like kind of humming, kind of like this chant, but it's not really words. It's more about like the melody, and I guess cast a spell. It takes like an hour to cast, so he kind of starts channeling magic.
Where
and
do you place the piece, the meat piece?
well, I think first he'll keep it in his hand, or yeah, for most of the time he'll keep it in his hand, and then at the very end, he's kind of like throughout the spell, dumping some of the oils into the water, and then at the very end he'll throw the skin into the water.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll keep the soul in his lap. I know it like is a random race that the body takes on because of the spell, but I think for Hugs it's also just because like just the way his magic works. He doesn't really
Mhm.
care about or he doesn't understand the concept of like different bodies or races, and I don't know how it will affect it that all his magic is kind of tainted by the blight.
Well, it's funny you say then, because I did roll that you wanted the end of life episode. Just so I could be prepared. Huxley takes about an hour, slowly casting the spell, chanting, gathering energies. Every now and then you see him sort of add a few more droplets or splashes of oil into the water. This growing sort of pool of oil near the ship's edge then begins to spread out and grow in size. Is there anything you do within an hour? You're just silently watching.
Evelyn's mostly observing and has kind of taken out a little notebook to make a few notes.
I have something I want to do. Yeah, I might as well do it now that we're stationary. I wanted to send a sending message. Is that alright?
Mm-hmm.
To Mr. Lorenz Hightower. I will copy it in basically, so I'll copy the exact words.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, did you make it out? We saw Arcanist go up from afar. If you need help, give us the location. Otherwise, see you in Polythreme later.
You
Just to find
cast
out.
the sending and you feel the spell succeed. You feel the sending sort of go out.
Okay.
But probably somewhat to your expectation. As you wane,
Mm-hmm.
you currently receive no response.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. I know that we are far, but it felt like he is potentially still alive then if it went out. Maybe. Is that how it works? I don't actually know.
I don't think you'd be able to tell just from the initial cast and all that.
Okay. Very good.
During this hour, you'd probably see Vidar almost pacing a little. Almost pretending to not be as involved as he clearly is. Sort of walking to the edge and staring the other direction. But as Huxley, the end of the hour draws near, and you slowly release the piece of flesh that you have into the water, you cast the spell Reincarnate. As the spell takes hold, the cut of grayish flesh on the water surface trembles, vibrates. It changes color, turning to a deep earthen tone of black, almost like ink spreading across the surface of the flesh. This color also spreads across the oils that are spreading across the water. Before the small piece of flesh begins to erupt in size, you see this mass of black feathers spread and emerge across the water. As the silver sphere in your lap shatters, disintegrating into a million pieces like a fine sand. Vaguely, you hear Vidar taking a few steps forward. As on the water surface, floating, black wings spread across the water, almost like a spill of feathers. The light from the spell fades as Reincarnate fully complete.
I guess Hugs will reach into the water and drag them onto the ship.
In this sort of loose spread of black wings on the water surface sits a humanoid shape. The shape of her wings continues throughout the rest of her body, and she stares back at you with gleaming wide eyes.
What did you do?
And she blinks a few times before sort of frantically, visibly confused, looking around. There's this moment where the surface tension of the water finally begins to sort of break, and this almost raft of feathers begins to start sinking in a little bit as you would then help her onto the side of the ship.
I hurry over with like clothing, but frantically try to cut some wing holes in the shirt. I didn't expect wings. Here.
He blinks a few times as you pull her ashore on the boat. before her eyes begin to settle down towards the shape of her own body, and you see her raising her hands before her eyes, almost examining them closely. The dog steps forward. Corinne. Vidar, as he steps forward, carefully avoids stepping onto her wings. And at the sound of her name, you see her sort of tense up and look at Vidar. But the look of shock in her face quickly turns into a genuine smile. Vidar, what happened? What is this? Again, you see her examining her arms and hands with intense curiosity. You are aboard an airship, our airship, and you are safe. We found you in a pretty bad state, but you have been brought back. Kind of like when Orvaith petrified you by accident. You almost see a smile forming on Vidar's face before he, too, tenses up once again, focusing elsewhere. I know it may be difficult, Corinne, but please, if you try to remember what happened. Corinne furrows her brow, closing her eyes. I was just an arcanist. Things changed quickly when you and your friends left on the ship. Oh, is this that airship? It's almost a blur. Everyone grew so distant. I remember lots of arguments between people in hallways and study halls. My dreams became nightmares so quickly. All I could dream of was these black landscapes filled with towers and spires and spikes and the light. And an eye or something that was always searching for me.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Every second of every dream, and there was never a moment's rest. It never seemed to stop even when I woke up, like it was still there, still happening. No spells I could think of worked. I thought of talking to others, but whenever I set foot outside my tower, I could feel their eyes staring at me, hiding away from me, whispering at me. I felt so alone, so afraid of everyone. And I kept asking myself why. Why it was me who was alone. Why they all stared at me. In the streets, I've never seen them so empty. I think now, remembering maybe everyone thought everyone else was staring at them. Everyone locked in their room staring at everyone else with constructs and scrying and familiars. When I try to remember and close my eyes, I still feel watched. I feel alone and paranoid, like an exile, like an outsider. I remember locking myself in my room, fading in and out of these thoughts, and at some point in the dreams, the screaming started. When I woke up, it was still there, and I tried spells against the influence of the mind, intellect fortress, mind blank, silence. None of it seemed to help. I think maybe, in a way, the screaming was real. You see her start to breathe a little bit more heavily. It's all right, Corinne. Ground yourself. You are just remembering. Then I don't remember that much. I remember a wake, the ground shook. I remember pain and laughter. I remember taking a knife and you see her hand quickly cup her mouth as she stops. Sorry, it gets... I'm feeling a little lightheaded. At this point you see Vidar sort of crouch down, placing a hand on her shoulder. Don't worry about that for now. But when we left, once things turned odd, weird. What about Orvaith, Nareen, Kassan? What about the others? I don't know. I think they must have hid, like everyone. Right now, if I was in trouble, I would find them immediately. Seek their help, but then I didn't. It's like I didn't remember I had friends. Like I was someone else, or myself at a time in my life when I had felt so alone. Before I met you and the others. I'm sorry, I think I let them down. Don't even start. Not until we know more. Sounds like they were unable to seek you out either. There are still hundreds of questions I would like to ask you right now. But I imagine you need rest. I'll show you to the quarters and answer any questions that you might have. Vidar stands up, slowly helping her to her feet, and looks towards you, almost as if waiting for you to either ask a question or...
I mean, I'll move aside, but I'm gonna say to her, you should probably, before you rest even, well, say thank you. And then indicate Evelyn. It wasn't Vidar who brought you back.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm still gathering my thoughts.
It's time for all that later.
And not necessary right now.
Red casually nodding towards Ablin as Hux still looks very, very much exhausted from doing this whole 1 hour super hard, expensive ritual. She brought you back!
Just looks at the woman with like big eyes, just amazed at how, like, what he created.
It actually worked.
Also, Huxley, what was that? I mean, you're responsible too. Listen, I'm just mainly making sure Vidar doesn't get all the credit, okay, guys?
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, what is that? Should I say that? What?
Evelyn, can you roll me a history?
Yes, please.
No. Also, Red, did we meet this person before?
She was the lady in the tower in the bottom of the sea. She was in the tower.
Yeah, I know that she's the one in the tower, but like, did we meet her in Arcanus?
Oh, not that I recall.
Because I don't recall anything, so I wouldn't know. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, not that I recall.
Okay.
We might have seen her with like the collection Everybody, but I don't. It doesn't stand out to me.
The glowing eyes to you, Evelyn, are somewhat of a giveaway. Going through your mental catalog of places, people, races, creatures you know, and excluding some that have more distinct features, such as Genasi, you very quickly fall onto the theory that she is likely, or has likely been turned into an Asimar.
Mm.
And by her general look, you would assume a fallen Asimar.
Okay.
Very fitting.
So Hux is
Okay,
casually
fair
creating
enough.
fallen angels.
If you wanted to bring Kira back, or Kira back.
This is my
I-
backup character now.
I suspect that Hux has touched on pulling back Corin and in some form something close to having celestial blood. Likely an Asimon would be my best assumption.
That's crazy.
That
mean,
is crazy.
awesome.
Yeah. Also cool, but crazy. So Hux, are you an angel?
Yeah.
What? What's that?
Like the lady who stays in our library, sort of.
I don't think so.
Do you ever recall being in a Garden of Souls kind of place?
I've been to gardens in Polythreme.
Yeah. No,
Okay,
I
so
feel
that's a
getting off
no.
track here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of transformations, though, do you ever recall wanting to be a dragon with every fiber of your being?
Yes.
Nice. I think we can make that happen.
His eyes are even bigger.
But I think it would be a good idea to try to have me, and maybe Evelyn can help me here, remember you the way you are right now, just in case you want to come back to this kind of being.
I do like this.
Yeah. But yeah, it definitely doesn't need to be permanent. Well, that's a good point. It can either be like an hour at a time, or like a day or two at a time. I think. Or longer.
Amazing.
That is a
Is
long
that something
time.
you're interested in trying out today?
Yes.
Because I'm really excited to try it out. Because the idea just came to me, and like I always wanted to make a dragon.
Yes. Let's go.
Yes.
May I ride you?
Okay.
Whoa, okay.
Okay. We gotta try to remember this note stuff first. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So, how exactly are you planning on trying to turn her into a dragon and needing my assistance in remembering
Well-
her or his form?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we get good notes on what Hugs is like right now, so that I can accurately turn them back.
Then probably you wouldn't want to recall Hux as he is exactly at this point in time, but rather the entirety of what Hux is.
Yeah. That's an excellent point, which is why I needed your help. How would we go about that?
I would probably like a little bit of time to study Hux to be able to fully answer that question.
All right, Hux, let's go get studying. Oh, sorry, Radar's back.
Like doing there.
Did you require us to remain on the water for your undertaking?
No. No? Question?
We should be able to continue on.
And I will return the dart to the skies.
Right. Okay. I'm so excited. But I'm going to try to pay attention.
I want to see where this is going and follow them.
Mm-hmm.
Hux, when you want, if you want to head down to the lab, I can possibly try and spend a bit of time on this.
Yeah, you will. Hello, Rush.
And Huxley, Evelyn, you have my thanks.
You're quite welcome.
Wow, Huxley, no. It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, whatever.
You're welcome. Wasn't even a problem at all. I'll do it again anytime. But all his attention now is on becoming a dragon, so
Mm-hmm.
he's like a child in a candy shop.
Beggar, could I use the physical instrument to discern Hux after asking Hux to try and, I guess, first probably would be a question. Hux, can you attempt to turn into the form that you're in when you're not around anybody else?
Yeah, he can kind of just melts away and the black form.
And then when Hux is in his like most blight-looking self, attempt to use the physical instrument to discern as much as I can from Hux's like anatomical information. Assuming what I'm trying to figure out how much is meta and what I know Rhett's trying to do true polymorph. And he'd have to do true polymorph to turn Hux back into Hux. So I'm trying to have the best capture of Hux as possible, like on like that level, if that makes sense. To kind of do like a medicine check.
Whether or not you ascertain you can do the discern essentially at the same time. Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Okay. You can go ahead and roll me a medicine check on grasping exactly how to best make a sort of template of her.
Hey, Red.
Yeah.
You think it would help if I made like a super detailed sketch of Hux to remember Hux and
Horrible
whatnot?
roll.
Yeah.
Like I could do that.
That was a really bad roll.
I'm gonna try to capture the essence of Huxley.
Oh, and you can take your shiny soul back.
I gotcha.
I think
People
this
always told me
disintegrated.
I'm pretty good at capturing the essence of people in my drawings.
Yeah.
Well, I rolled a 2.
Ooh, do we need to reroll that?
I don't have any
Uh,
thing to reroll.
How important is this to know? It's really
feels
important,
fairly
right?
important.
Yeah.
I have one, I suppose. Do you want Slap City? Yeah. This is Evelyn paying us back.
Okay. That plus that's
Consider, why did I get so many snips from you guys last?
32.
For a wish? 32 is pretty good.
One of these you got for the wish.
Oh,
I don't remember what these were spent on.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't think I've spent anything since the wish. 32.
As you examine Huxley and Huxley's anatomy, this is the first time you're really dealing with a changeling of this nature. To a large degree, you know that changelings still have sort of set corporeal bodies as their original form. As you examine Huxley, however, there are quite a few things missing that you would expect from a normal changeling. Obviously, starting with the distinct signs of what a changeling usually looks like. Most likely, Huxley's form, even in Huxley's sort of original state, is a form that Huxley has sort of given himself. And you know that if Huxley was more aware of this, his original state could very well be just looking like an ooze.
Wow.
In that sort of sense, the easiest way for you to preserve Huxley's original state might just be to keep a physical sample of Huxley's old body to sort of use as a channeling reference when you try to return a then polymorphed Huxley back to that state. The shape-changing abilities should be preserved in that way, and the forms that Huxley chooses, you would know, would simply be dependent on Huxley's state of mind. So most likely those would simply be preserved along with the soul to begin with.
Right. So, Hux, the best way to accomplish what Rhett is suggesting and to be able to ensure that you can change back afterwards would be if we removed a sample of yourself and preserved that to reference later on.
Like a finger.
Like a finger.
Or drawing some blood, maybe? Does that do the same?
Well, ideally, depending on what is being channeled, some blood might work, but if there's a combination of both, that's always better. Your blood does have slightly different properties than your flesh, but theoretically, for the purposes, some blood might be sufficient.
Might just want to be safe and take a finger.
You could take a toe as well, or something. Something, or just a piece of flesh.
I know this is necessary, but it just feels weird. This is the second time in 2 days.
I mean, I feel like if you say he needs to give you a finger to be able to turn into a dragon, he will immediately cut off his finger.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
No hesitation. Do it.
I just something that's going to be the least inconvenient for you. And I don't know if maybe having all of your fingers would be ideal for holding your weapons, things like that.
That's true. Like a tooth or a tongue.
I could probably simply just take a bit of flesh from your side or something like that, and that shouldn't be much of an issue. I can patch it up really quickly.
It will stretch out his arm or something.
And Evelyn kind of like pull out one of her scalpels and like try and very efficiently like take a piece of Hux.
Mm-hmm. I don't need to have you roll
Yeah,
compensate on that.
And then she'll go ahead and quickly cast a cure wounds to heal it afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll move to put the piece of flesh in like a vial kind of size container to try and preserve it as much as possible.
As you place the piece of flesh, sort of almost stuff into this vial, curiously enough, it almost turns somewhat viscous inside the vial.
Slays an ooze.
I think if he sees that and hears that, he will consciously start melting into an ooze, kind of becoming more like his skin looking like melted wax.
Okay, well, you didn't. I mean, that's not disturbing at all.
What?
You're becoming an ooze. I mean, I guess you were, but you don't have any bones left.
What are bones?
Oh no! You'll find out when you're a dragon.
Edwin will hand the vial over to Rex. Reluctantly.
Yeah, I won't forget this.
Ideally, if you're attempting to change Huck's back, try and channel the spell through this as much as possible.
Right. Makes sense. Also, I definitely won't forget this. Looking at this ooze.
Oh, good thing you don't have a back.
Oh no. Alrighty, so Dragon Dive.
What's
I think
Think
we do it on
about
deck.
right? How large are you planning on making Hucks?
I'm thinking like a Cynthia size. He was pretty sick dragon.
Right. So there is the concern of the size of our ship,
Oh yeah.
and suddenly summoning that much mass into a space would also likely jolt the positioning of the ship.
Oh yeah.
I could fly or swim if we land.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. I could hop off.
And
What would that be? And then just do it in the air?
well, are you only intending on doing this for an hour or so?
That's up to Oxley.
So you'd also have to try and the follow through with that would be things like if Hux remained as a dragon,
Uh-huh.
being able to sleep,
Right.
so I would probably suggest not fully transforming Hux at this point.
I'll leave that up to Oxley. I think you're right in the sense that you would have to find somewhere probably to sleep at night. Even as dragon. What do you think, Oxley?
I mean, I guess we can test it.
Yeah, sounds good to me. We'll just do a slightly less than 1 hour test.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right. We're just gonna go have a brief conversation with the door.
Yeah, well, I think we'll do it in the air, like off the ship, probably.
How long does it take to cast a spell?
It's like pretty much immediate, I think.
So I can jump off the ship, and then you cast, and I turn into a dragon.
Yeah.
Yay!
You're gonna look so awesome.
Well, and probably like Silas could jump right after you and just like land on you immediately.
Oh my god.
Yes!
I'm super down for that.
Just as a bit of warning, Vidar, there
Dragon,
seems
dragon,
to
dragon,
attempt to transform
Everyone passes
into a
dragon, dragon.
dragon at the
dragon.
moment.
I can hear that.
Oh, why would anyone give us so much power as we have?
No. If you can slow it down ever so slightly. Well, actually, is it going the faster as
At the moment, the dart is still on a somewhat slow ascent.
Yeah, that's fine. I will take off on the broom enough to hover slightly and be ready to cast a spell. As Huxley does a flip off the ship.
Hux, shall we do like a tandem jump so I'm immediately on top of you, basically?
I totally didn't forget to prepare a token.
Oh no.
Because I feel like if I jump a little bit later than you, then I will miss you and then I will fall. And that would be not as cool, you know. Let's do this.
3, 2, 1, go!
No!
Accio Dragon! But
You jump off the ship. Red, do you immediately cast
yeah.
through polymorph? Okay.
Yeah.
You cast through polymorph. You know what this is a perfect time for?
Right.
Break.
5 to 10 minute break.
Nice.
Perfect.
Get
Thank
a
you.
new boon pen,
Perfect.
and then maybe have a couple seconds real quick to finish this token.
Mhm.
I'll be right back.
Yes. If you polymorph me into a gold dragon,
I haven't seen a gold dragon.
Only
Yes,
a
yes.
red dragon.
I agree as soon as we see a gold or silver dragon. That would be way better.
but then I can change shape.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So the
I-
new mission now is to find a gold dragon.
Or silver. I think silver dragons also can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not.
Well, yeah, yes, I mean, yes.
Yeah.
We want to find a gold dragon, yes, of course. Or at least get a really good description or something. Whereas I have seen a adult red dragon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be right back as well.
That it's different from your wild shape. You feel your mind slightly change along with your transformation. As mid-flight, mid-fall, you spread out your wings and turn into a red dragon, an adult red dragon. From your perspective, Silas, as you fall, below you, you see the small blot that is Huxley. And then in a very sudden just splitting of clouds, all you see is red. As you manage to land on the back of an adult red dragon.
My eyes grow wide, and I feel pride for Hux. I'm so proud of Hux now. For being a motherfucking dragon. Alright, Hux, good you have these spikes on your back. I will hold on to them.
Yeah, I mean, he will take full advantage of being able to fly and, you know, make some loopings and
Hey Silas,
up and down.
Yeah, that's me.
why don't you go ahead and roll me a quick athletics check?
Of course. course. Athletics, holy shit. Oh no, it's not good. I mean, it's okay, but not good. That is 24.
Wow.
Okay. As Huxley begins just diving, making circles in the air, you feel this immense pressure of the just mass of this dragon moving through the air. It's difficult to hold on, but you manage to hold on as Huxley begins to draw loopings and twists and turns that very easily could have thrown you.
I'm just standing on the deck cheering. Yeah, do another one.
And of course, I will also use my breath weapon.
Yeah, all back.
Nice.
It's very
Signaling
helpful
the
experience.
airship and probably everyone else within a couple of miles. A plume of light illuminates the clouds as you let out a giant flow of red flames.
I feel like this might be the first red dragon in history that has been like is like screaming in joy and like woo, this is amazing as it's flying.
Does it keep Huxley's voice basically?
That would be so funny.
Nice.
Maybe a little deeper.
Most likely it's a lot deeper.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's gonna make her way back inside. Passing by Vidar. Like, they didn't die, I don't believe.
Does not appear so.
Just gonna go back downstairs.
See, this is what normal people do when we get awesome things, unlike wizards.
Okay, but while I'm in this shape, I still am a druid, right? Like I can still use my actions or my class abilities.
Good question.
True polymorph, you would completely change.
Okay.
So currently you would not be able to wild chain because
Yeah.
currently you are not
Yeah.
in a form that can wild chain. And you would not be able to cast any
Yeah.
spells that the dragon can't also cast.
Oh.
Like, if there were a verbal only spell that you knew, I think theoretically you could do that, but I don't even think that exists. Right? That was my understanding.
If at one point you do reach the stage where you find and discover a gold dragon or something similar, that may change. But just from true polymorph itself,
Yeah.
you would not be able to mix and match. At least currently.
Well, I guess it's an hour of enjoying being a dragon.
Nice. I'll try to keep an eye or yeah, a decent count, so I don't accidentally make you a dragon forever.
Oops.
I mean, it would only last until tomorrow.
It would be right. Yeah.
Oops. All dragon.
What?
It could be
I mean,
worse.
I feel like the person who wants that the least is beggar. So-
I mean, you can already do that, so there's nothing I can really do about it.
Listen, once we drop Vent off and there's room, well, no, I don't think it'll fit low. No.
like,
But yes.
fly along the ship, so Rat can also get out the dragon.
Yeah, baby. But I'm gonna keep a hold on my broom. So if I get just tossed, I'll just pick up my broom hovering.
Remember the time we fought this guy who was weak to fire? Kinda wanna fight him again now.
Right?
Yeah.
That guy's in for a bad time.
Probably not gonna be alone though, so.
Well,
For the rest of the day, the dart soars across the clouds. Its speed not quite reaching the heights of only a few days prior, as a red dragon flies spirals around it. But with the rush of recent events, you hardly feel the need to dive into the next immediately. And so, for the time being, you enjoy a somewhat leisurely day aboard the airship, or around it.
Once Hugs turns back, he will spend the rest of the day gushing to Chalet how cool it was being a dragon.
Want me to draw you in your dragon form? So you can always keep like some kind of keepsake for you to look at whenever you're not a dragon for a moment.
Yes.
I will get to it tonight.
And don't forget to draw the horns and the teeth.
You can watch while I draw if you want to, and you can like nudge me into the right direction, I guess.
Draw a little tiny red next to it for skill.
Mm.
okay. Well, hang on.
Hold on.
I will.
Small.
You are all so tiny.
I'm just drawing like super little chibi versions of Red and Ablet
Okay.
and whatnot next to like I put everything into the dragon drawing and then just put like some chibi
Nice.
simple versions of us next to you. And I will hand over the picture to you, the drawing. You can keep this one.
Thank you.
Now, probably we shouldn't like immediately do that every morning in case we actually need it. But if we can eventually figure out some way where you can be both your regular and a dragon, then we could do it. Yeah.
It is a bit stiff.
It's a bit what now?
Stiff.
Stiff? Oh.
Like
Oh, you found out what bones are, huh?
properly.
Yeah. Yep, those are bones. They're stiff.
Weird.
Okay, well, that goes both ways as far as weirdness. I mean, most people have bones.
Like you feel like that all the time. Like you
Yeah.
can't really move.
I can't move my insides, I guess.
Weird.
Hmm.
thought it was because of the scales.
Maybe. I don't know.
I feel like scales would probably also make someone a little less.
Yeah.
Yes, but I can have scales right now and it doesn't feel...
It's probably the bones, though.
Yeah, probably. Never thought about it like that.
Or wind.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
This is the kind of philosophy I like.
Yeah. Bones are the worst. Yeah, I don't think we do anything else really today.
I want to keep it right.
Sure, I mean,
I'm sure it'll come back.
sure it will.
Probably, despite what Vidar said, I will attempt to send a dream to, like, someone in Polythreme.
Okay.
I'll just try to contact, what's her face? My apprentice, Riel.
Real.
But I'm assuming it won't work. But that being said, Vidar doesn't know everything, as we found out, so yeah. Worth a check.
Check. Just calculating something real quick. By calculating, I mean drawing a single line through a map. Very high tech.
Solid calculations.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't look like
As you attempt to reach Brielle in the dream, you cannot connect. You're not entirely sure if it's because she's not sleeping or because of the blood. But you know that the spell does not take effect.
Fair enough. What I expected anyway.
For the dream, as afternoon comes and goes, as the clouds turn a deep orange red in the light of the setting sun, a few of you might feel a slight pit in your stomachs. There's this moment of tenseness. Consciously, rationally, you know there won't be another quake, another explosion. Arcanist can hardly explode twice.
At this point,
But you almost expect another occurrence of the light every time your eyes wander across the clouds. But it never does. And eventually you settle into sleep. Awakening the next day, rested and filled with energy. As one by one you start filing out of the rooms and doors, you'd find Vidar descending the stairs. And see you awakening. Would you have slept anywhere in the mansion, or would you have stayed in the...
I think I would have asked Corinne and Vidar if they would have liked to stay in the mansion with us. Because it's somewhat more comfortable.
Corinne would likely have accepted.
Okay, so then we would have.
Vidar would not.
someone has to be at the helm, I guess.
And there would have been an additional bedroom in place.
The old storage shed.
You know, okay, I can.
I'm just saying. Almost as if anticipating you finding out of the magnificent mansion somewhat close-ish to noon, as I assume you'd have eaten and
Mhm.
rested up in the morning.
Yeah, I would have fed a Suxley.
Vidar would read whoever steps out first, which would be
Evelyn would probably head out pretty early, or head out as the rest of the group is getting ready to. She's
okay.
normally an early
And as
riser.
you open the door and step out, you'd be greeted by Vidar. Evelyn,
But
I hope you are well rested.
yes, I'm assuming as all is well with ship.
So far. If
Good
you
to hear.
could relay to the others. Today we'll near the storms. I'm sure that all of you remember how to do things we did practice. Should it become required.
I will relay the message.
It would be prudent to keep in mind as we actually enter the vicinity of these storms, conditions will likely be worse than when we practiced. There will be winds, rain, possibly thunder. Lightning should not strike the ship, but if it does, it should conduct across the surface outside harmlessly. We will need to establish a rotation of watches from here on out. We are, after all, actively looking for any signs of aerial life, for the information. I can somewhat watch from the windows at the front, but my field of view is very limited.
Understood. It should be easy enough for us to do that. I can relay that information to everyone.
And if you could assign someone to take a watch. Without
Of course.
and already heads back up.
Having just stepped out of the mansion, Evelyn will step back into the mansion. I'm assuming everybody was kind of already up and moving.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We probably chatted Corinna up a little bit, like, so how do you know the dog?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Definitely.
I don't know if you beg or want to do that, but it's fine if she's not feeling chatty then.
It depends on which questions you ask. What exactly do you ask?
But probably the general getting to know you. How do you know Vidar? How long were you with wizards or whatever?
Well,
Oh, what college did you go to?
I've been with the wizards for quite a while. Let me think. Probably 30 odd years.
Okay.
I met Vidar and the others there. So, I suppose it would be nearly as long. They didn't really pay attention to any of the newcomers until a few years in. A lot of people used to join the academies and drop out. By the time I was sort of set to choose a vocation or make a name for myself, Vidar was already Exarch, and Sebek and Ariarik were favoring Orvaith to be the next Exarch, and Hassan was already Demi-Mage of Abjuration, and Nareen was already Archmage at that point. So anywhere in those fields would have felt too sheltered, I guess. My field of study was graviturgy.
Graviturgy? Okay.
But I suppose a lot happened before I could make it to any of the higher rank within the hierarchy of arcanists. As she mentions then, you can sort of tell she's kind of trailing off with her thoughts.
Okay.
There is a slight melancholy to her voice.
I mean, I don't need to like push it further, but you know, anybody else can talk to her too.
Graviturgy sounds like kind of fun. Was it like fun for you, or was it more like something you had to do because it was the thing you focused on?
Oh, it was certainly fun. I'm not exactly sure if I would call it my passion in the same way that Nareen would call evocation hers. You know, some people find a thing that defines their entire life and never change. I suppose in a way I was always more flexible in that regard. Not unlike Orvaith would have been. But I was also never as ambitious as any of them. I honestly was just happy to be there.
Did Orvaith always have this attitude with him?
What kind of attitude do you mean?
You know, can be a little bit... How do I say this? I don't want to be rude.
Like a signature look of superiority. Kind of a smugness, perhaps.
Yeah,
Right?
something
Is
like
what we're
that.
getting at?
Yeah. You worded it way better. My words were way too harsh. That I had in mind.
Oh yeah, don't pull
He's-
that tooth right now.
Always been that way when it comes to people he doesn't consider. Well, there's no good way to put this, so I guess yes. Yeah. As long as I've known him, anyways. But he can be fiercely loyal as well.
That's so.
Oh. You know anything about Boltzmann? You ever meet him? Or work with him much?
Boltzmann is by far the most eccentric of all the wizards I've ever met.
Even more than the rest, huh?
You just mentioned a attitude of smugness. A kind way, I'm sure, of relating to someone's arrogance. Boltzmann has a lot of that.
Oh,
But once you talk to him and show him that you understand a subject that he too is interested in, he will not stop talking and almost entirely forget about this etiquette that he expects from others.
like what kind of subjects?
Well, anything relating to his research, whatever he's researching at the time.
Hmm.
Last I heard, it was, of course, the big subject on everyone's mind.
Yeah. That's why we're looking for him.
Also, kind of Orvaith asked us for it, right?
Well, yeah.
He told me something of the sort.
Hope Orvith is alright, even though he's kind of a dick. Like,
Hmm.
all of us can be at times. I mean,
There's a lot that I don't understand about what happened. And there's a lot of people that I hope are alright.
yeah.
I know in that sense I've been extremely lucky.
Well, I wouldn't really call it luck, and again, oh, well, I'll let you talk to her, but you owe Evelyn a lot. And I mean, like, literally, probably, so.
I know, Vidar has told me.
Mm-hmm.
Luck in a way that I survived in the first place.
Right, true.
That you just happened to be there. I guess it could have been anyone else. I just hope that the others landed in similar circumstances. Or they got away.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I remember I mean, I kind of snuck into a dream, and those towers you were talking about were freaky.
I've not dreamed of them yesterday. As far as I can remember, the first time I've dreamed in a long while of normal things, I suppose.
That's good.
But it almost feels like they are still there. Perhaps subconsciously, perhaps it's nothing more than that.
I guess we'll find out. Doesn't matter. We have a Huxley, and all wizards are scared of Huxley, so. I mean, you don't need to be. Sorry, that wasn't a threat.
Scan?
Yeah, Huxley just has that effect on wizards for some reason,
I
right, Huxley?
heard that there was a keen interest in Huxley, at least while you were around.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, any wizards that are kind of hostile, like, the, like, tower. Well, I guess maybe it's not wizards, but I kind of attributed it to some kind of... I guess I don't know the cause, per se, of those watchers.
In my experience, wizards are very set on their superiority through intellectual means. I think when they can't overcome something corporeal easily with their mind, they get frustrated quickly.
I mean, I guess, yep. In my, yeah, I don't need
Perhaps Huxley is the sort of corporeal thing.
Huxley is a, yep, maybe corporeal?
Maybe.
I don't know. We don't need to worry about it right now.
I would be afraid of Hux if I were a wizard.
Yeah. I listen, Huxley's just great for people's cardio. That's what I
That is 100%. Yeah.
Not when they teleport away.
Oh yeah, that's true. Anyway, I guess Evelyn just came in and told us we need to take a watch.
I just had a conversation with Vidar. Sorry to interrupt. We're getting closer to the storms, and it would probably be best at this point in time that we started implementing watches, as Vidar's view is limited from where he's helming a ship. Ideally, we need to be prepared for the things we practiced for and the incidents where we might need to attempt to capture something with the oh my gosh, words.
The harpoons.
The harpoons. To be able to see the level of light, if there is any.
Yeah. If we need the harpoons, right.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to start up watch ideally now.
Okay.
Sure.
Anyone keen to take up this first watch?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at this. And I like
Perfect.
doing it. I like the view.
The storms should be starting up if we're hitting one of them. If lightning hits the ship, it shouldn't strike the ship, but if it does, it's supposed to move across the outside of the ship rather relatively harmlessly. So ideally you're probably safer on the ship than in the air. Kind of glancing over to Rhett with that. But just something to keep in mind.
Sounds like no dragon for now.
Or perhaps brooms.
Alright, and yeah, Silas will make his way up the stairs.
I don't know what people are talking about. I have a cannon to man when it's my turn. I'll still like hang out up here. Just
As you are sort of keeping watches throughout the day as opposed to, during a long rest, these take up a little bit longer of a time span. Likely up to 3 or so hours as you are watching in the daylight. Is there anything outside of the watches that anyone does throughout the day?
I guess I will ask our new friend a couple questions sometimes. Stuff like, do you know if Vidar ever was married? Stuff like that. Personal questions about Vidar. Seeing if I can find some funny stuff.
Having met you just
It's fine.
initially, you'd probably find her very deflected.
You know some funny stories about Vidar, maybe.
Funny stories about. She'd probably tell you one, but I'd have to come up.
Oh. Not gonna lie. Kind of not surprised.
They're fairly far and in between, you'd imagine.
We have this funny one where he was an old man stuck in a suit of armor.
Oh my gosh.
Then
Oh my gosh. Hey, Red, real quick question.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
No, I don't think so.
I forgot to have you.
Oh.
I knew there was.
Oh. I haven't seen that snip.
No, yeah.
At some point in time.
Oopsies.
Good. I was also going to check out about it at some point, but maybe that's what you're about to say.
No, you can go ahead and go first.
I was just going to mention to her, like, it might be worth your time to talk to Corinne at some point. I mean, in the sense that you brought her back with a hefty price, I guess. Some kind of price.
A price that I don't necessarily expect her to have to pay.
No, right, but I mean, I'm sure she could be a valuable ally, I guess is what I'm getting at.
I was planning on visiting her briefly.
Sure. If you wanted me to be in attendance, I can be, otherwise I won't worry about it.
Either way is fine.
And of course, if you are considering any other wishes, I'm happy to assist. But as I mentioned, the one of most pressing interest to me is probably not something we should try to undertake yet.
Right. Need to get a good evaluation of the situation before trying to tamper with it anymore.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that I'm not open to if you had other ideas, of course.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
What order would you keep watches?
Silas was first watch. Everyone can take second watch.
Yeah, just put it like that. I don't think it matters. I mean, it's matter.
Red on last watch.
At one point in time during the day, Ellen would go and seek out Corinne.
Where would you be during the first one?
Evelyn?
The first 3 hours. Yes.
Probably initially in the... Actually, she probably would have been trying to find Rhett to borrow his bag of holding.
Sure. I'm upstairs when not needed or something else.
Yeah, so she would have tried to get Rhett's bag of holding to take down to her room the room to search through if he just would hand over his bag of holding.
Search through?
That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, so she'd initially be in one of the rooms going through finding various outfits to pull out of the bag.
During the first watch, as Silas, you can go ahead and roll me a perception roll. You would likely hear a knock on the door. but not on your door directly. Few feet down the hall. Sounds like someone's knocking at your workshop.
And Evelyn would go ahead and step out.
And you'd see Corinne knocking at your workshop
Okay.
door.
Ah, sorry.
Yes, this quick glance over towards him. Oh. Was told I would probably find you in here. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You normally would. I'm actually working on something for you if you want to come over here.
Oh?
She'd walk back into the room.
Well, I was gonna say, sorry to disturb you if I am, but...
No, you're not. And she's got a couple of, of some of her other outfits kind of tossed out on the bed at the moment. I'm just, I thought it's normally easier to have several outfits, so I'm trying to see what I can deconstruct and reconstruct for you here.
Oh, yeah, it's somewhat strange with the wings. I'm still getting used to it, but
It's, I'm sure, going to take some time.
fine. But that's not what I had meant to... Vidar told me, and the tiefling with the horns, that it was you who
I
brought me
introduced my
back,
name of come on.
with a wish, no less, and even forcing yourself beyond your limits. They seemed not exactly withholding of why, but it seemed to be they didn't seem to agree exactly. So I'm not going to ask you exactly why you would go so far. All I want to say is I suppose that I owe you my life in a way, and at the moment there is little I can do to pay you back. And well, given the situation, words would almost seem trivial just in comparison to the risk you took for me. But for now, they are all I can offer, so thank you, Evelyn. She bows deeply, still in the doorway.
You're quite welcome. Although I should reiterate, I was mostly obtaining your soul back, whereas it was Hux, the shape-shifting one, that actually brought your physical form back.
I should go see Huxley in a bit, but you do understand the lengths of which you went to. There's no need to diminish those in any way. I understand fully what it implies to return a soul from the state it was in.
You're friends with Vidar, correct?
Yes.
I'm assuming there is a lengthy history between the two of you, and you are very close with each other.
Many years.
Then you would understand that Vidar is, from at least my perspective, normally rather reserved in his words and actions.
He has been likened to a golem at times.
And then you could perhaps imagine my surprise when we first came across you after everything happened. There are only a handful of individuals I can say I've ever seen look as torn and sorrowful as Vidar did in that moment.
As you say, then it's probably her who looks kind of torn and sorrowful.
Having been in the shoes of someone who has lost someone unexpectedly and seen it for their own eyes, and been in a position to not do anything at that time, finding myself in a position where I could try and do something seemed like the right move to take.
I know that there is a little bit more to it than that. But in regards to what Evelyn did say, was any of it deceitful?
It wasn't deceitful.
Okay.
It just wasn't, in the sense of it wasn't the full truth.
Like, yeah, that's what I mean.
Like, information withheld, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But
as her face, it goes sort of sad at the thought of the idea of her death paining others. Her hands very suddenly reach out and she pulls you into a hug.
Oh.
Do you resist? in any way?
Doesn't resist, but definitely surprised. It was not what she was expecting.
There is this long, warm moment where this sort of mass of feathers that she sometimes just sort of drags behind her moves slowly past you and also embraces you in that hug.
Rather awkwardly,
moments.
Evelyn will try and find the right place to move her arms and will return the hug.
And then she lets go.
Right. Well, thank you. I'm hopeful that helped possibly ease her mind. Again, not diminishing. I understand what I did. But
I'm glad that even after he left, Vidar couldn't find such good friends.
I'm a very horrible friend to have. If I'm entirely honest. And it probably caused Vidar quite some confusion, my actions.
You see her just sort of slightly shake her head, continues to smile. I don't believe that.
Well, you're very kind. I was thinking something more like a tunic top with it open in the back would make it easier for your wings. So I was going to see what I could reconstruct here with some fabric, and I should have it ready in a few hours probably.
And likely until the end of Silas' what you discuss fashion with wings
And
and the difficulties associated with it.
when shifting to a conversation she has more control over.
You made a friend.
Anyway,
If it matters, I rolled a 25 for my perception.
it does. Silas, throughout the day, throughout the first watch at least, the skies around the airship begin to darken. The clouds take on a distinct shade of gray, and every now and then, as you feel the wind push across the deck from the side, you feel the slightest surge in the thrumming of the engine. Just the ship slightly adjusting against the pushing of the winds outside. Winds that you yourself, of course, experience as you keep a watchful eye on the environment outside. Despite your apparent distance still from them, you can roughly make out the storms far towards the horizon, where the patchwork of clouds that surrounds you condenses into these massive white pillars, seamlessly merging with the rolling mass of clouds over your head. But at least during your watch, during the first watch, you don't notice anything flying through these clouds other than you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as soon as we switch watches, I guess I will let Ablin know that, yeah, I see the storms coming closer. Yada yada yada, explain her. Keep a good eye on them. Tell us if you see anything.
Mhm.
Bye.
Evelyn will take over watch.
You mind rolling me a perception roll?
Yeah, it's gonna be affordable. I know perception sucks. Oh, it's not that bad. I think it's 16. I think. 16.
Okay. As you stand watch, Ellen, watching the skies around you is probably one of the more boring things that you can imagine. As the dart flies through the clouds, it's much like flying through an ever-persistent fog. The world outside of the dart has turned this pale, monotone gray, with only a few differences in shades every now and then. And even though you can clearly observe the clouds in the distance and the clouds that flit by close by, you never see so much as a leaf out of place in the sky.
He's probably going crazy.
And your watch lasts almost 3 hours.
And by the
staring
end of it,
at
she's
monotone.
probably mentally like doing stupid math calculations to try and like guess the rate of wind of the clouds compared to the rate of the speed of the of the dart, just to try and like occupy her brain from melting from boredom.
Near the end of your watch, noon passes and the sun begins to settle in the west, in the direction of the ship's path. There is the slightest change at least in the environment, as the sun casts this eerie light through the clouds, illuminating the sky in more of the same different shades of pale gray. But as your watch comes to an end, finally, and you start making your way in. Something impacts the ship. At this moment, where would everyone be during the second?
I don't know. Probably where's Hux? I don't know where Hux is. Probably do some stupid stuff with Hux. Like playing cards or something.
I know it's not shown, but at some point, they've installed like beanbags or something to sit on this deck, the top deck. I'm just like hanging out because presumably we'll run into something eventually, so I'm hanging out semi nearby.
Mm-hmm. Evelyn, you were already on your way inside.
Yeah.
When for a split second the dart tilts this minuscule amount before readjusting, but just long enough to ring all of your alarm bells.
Everyone will spin around. And...
With the front of the top deck in full view of you, you witness exactly what happened. Something falls from above, out of a dark gray cloud, just as you pass underneath. The object hits the deck, causing that initial tilt. And as it raises its hand, to your horror, the object appears to not only be a creature, but to also have impacted so hard that it looks like pieces of it have spread across where it landed. And as it raises a
Oh my gosh.
horribly twisted, malformed beak into the air, expelling a wisp of breath of a pink-colored cloud. Even from a distant observation, the creature is visibly aberrant.
Whoa. Well, that's terrifying.
Its face is currently pointed towards the front of the dart, its head sort of craning almost fully vertically up.
It's looking up?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's at least craning. You can't really see which direction its eyes look, but its head is sort of craning directly up.
I'm gonna look upwards.
Go ahead
Just to
and
make
roll
sure
me
there's
a
nothing
perception
else
check.
coming.
Mhm.
Oh, jeez, it was almost a 20. 9.
You look up, but aside from the just blur of dark clouds, there's nothing else you see. No darker shades or shadows overhead.
I mean, doesn't want to look away from this thing, but also doesn't want to call out, drawing her at the attention of this thing. But she's at least desperately hoping that Vidar can see what's going on. As she tries and takes a step backward. I don't know if I can, if this is out of initiative, in initiative.
At the moment, I would say we're in semi-initiative, so you have a sort of turn as a group, but you're not yet in combat.
Then Evelyn's going to try as stealthily as possible to step backwards in towards the ship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I need to be able to... get that to them. Do you already have it calibrated? Okay.
Should take 1 second. It's close to where it should be, anyways.
Is it calibrated now?
1 second.
Okay. Sorry.
Whoa. Yeah. Should be fine.
Alright, let's. I got like 5 more feet. That is my initial quote unquote move in this. Trying to sneak backwards.
Mm-hmm. As you move back, sort of towards Vidar, keeping the creature well inside, you see Vidar also move, quickly darting forward and hitting the lever to close the door. And with this clanking hiss, attracting the sight of the creature, the gate begins to close.
And the jazz music stops.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the clank, clank, clank of slowly these rings sort of moving forward and closing shut.
What's up?
Still looking towards the creature through the glass. Well, there is no doubt that we likely won't need a sample of this creature. I think it is clear to the eye that it is largely corrupted. I'm going to bring us on a path away from here. The only issue that remains is one we should do with it.
It was looking up, but I couldn't see anything else from where it came from.
Well, then would assume even more so it is time to get out of here. You see Vidar tilts the steering wheel, and with a list this time on purpose, the dart changes course. The corruption to this extent would imply that we're already somewhat close to a core of life. I'm going to take us much farther south before heading back west.
Sounds like a solid choice. And we can still see out of the ship, correct?
Mm-hmm. It's still
Yeah, so everyone's just staring
in
out.
as the dart visibly sort of picks up in speed. You see the wings sort of, tilt slightly with the added pressure of the wind. You see it just firmly holding on to the front of the ship.
I'll let the others know.
Yeah, that's was going to suggest.
Yeah, like clank down the hatch and be like, "That's some kind of weird bird holding on to the ship." Guys,
A bird?
demon bird looking thing. I mean Blightbird.
Oh. Sounds like I need his helmet, Hux.
I mean, there's no lightning. Apparently.
Let's go.
Excitedly.
I'm running upstairs.
Evelyn, as you observe the creature, you see it again sort of as it sort of leveled out its head from the pressure of the wind, reach up its beak towards the sky again in a moment, and you hear extremely muffled this loud screech. But as the doors remain closed, you only hear it very faintly.
From observing it, is there anything I can gain at all from its behavior or features or anything? like what is the pink mist or like
Go
best
ahead and
guess?
roll me an investigation check.
Okay. 17.
The pink mist seems to almost expel from its mouth whenever it opens. There's these almost like a fume that's constantly rising from its core. And you don't only see it emanating from its mouth. There are portions between its sort of scraggly looking feathers where it almost seems like there is also some of this mist or vapor escaping. In the first place, the creature looks heavily injured, but appears almost entirely unbothered by that. As to its behavior, there's not much you can currently tell. It's
Yeah.
almost like a fly that you point a fan towards. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's sort of hunkered down slightly, just holding on to the front of the ship, not doing much else.
What's it doing?
It might be just trying to catch a ride. It certainly seems like it's been in some sort of a fight and it keeps looking upwards. So there could be
Something bigger out there?
else out there that's bigger. But it could also just be really odd and corrupted by its nature at this point.
You think? Feels like we're turning.
Never seen a creature as wretched as this. Even the more pure forms of the blight creatures are easier to look at than this thing.
Yeah. You think you could get us above the clouds?
Not very far, unfortunately.
Oh.
Most I can do is dive into the clouds above, but we are close to the storm still.
Yeah.
And here, the clouds have built mountains.
Yeah, okay.
I could try spinning the ship. There is a chance it falls off, but if it doesn't, there will only be us flying around.
Yeah, it's alright. So, we probably need to clear it off then, huh?
Dragon time.
I'm going to use Jess's BRB real quick to also call for a 5-minute break because I gotta swap out my cooling pan.
Sounds good.
All right.
And I will be right back.
Does sound like dragon time. Maybe you'll see another dragon that also is beating up this thing. Shove Huxley out and yabba dabba ding.
Dragon time.
It didn't seem to initially react to me being out on the deck, but it didn't necessarily see me either, so just be cautious.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna come back inside as soon as you know. Okay.
Or just sending Hux out alone. Got it.
Yeah. I mean, unless Huxley like it comes back and tells us there's a problem. Well, I mean, Silas can ride Huxley too. They can both ride.
I should
Look.
probably slow down the dart then.
Probably.
Yeah.
Are
Well, I
you
As soon
mean-
as that door opens, we'll fly backward.
Yeah. I mean, we like. I guess it's not doing damage. We could wait a while if you want to.
There is a chance it would simply leave at some point.
I mean, Huxley like reaching for the lever to open the door.
Well, he's waiting for someone to give the signal.
It's
I'm
probably
just
at the very front of the gate, just
pressed
face
against the gate.
pressed against the glass.
Let me in it, boss. I guess you might want to slow the ship down. Yeah.
You feel the thrumming sort of slightly abate. The wind-swept, side-pushed wings of the creature straighten up a little bit. As the
Silas.
dart
Are you going out as well?
If that's okay,
Which weapon are you most likely to use?
Probably his
when I look at the thing, I don't think I want to jump on it. It just looks super weird to ride it, so I will stay on the dragon. So I guess my bow would be the most likely weapon to use.
May I see it for a moment?
Sure. Yeah.
Ellen will take the bow and kind of pull out like this kind of like coagulated gel kind of thing and smear it on the ends of the bow. It kind of gets absorbed into the bow and she'll hand it back.
That's
That
a good
should
point.
help a bit.
In case for some reason you fall off, I'm gonna like take my broom and a little piece of rope and tie it to your Silas. So you got a broom, and I'll hit him with a death ward as well. Just in
Nice.
case.
I cast Vorpal Weapon on your bow.
Uh-huh.
If you look in the notebook, I've put it there.
What does Vorpal Weapon do on a bow?
It's any weapon.
Does it still cut off the hand?
The weapon becomes indescribably sharp, ignoring resistance to slashing damage.
Or is it different from a Vorpal Song?
It's just Vorpal Weapon. I don't have a Vorpal Sword spell. So it's technically...
It's a +3 now.
I mean, it's weird wording. Because it talks about slashing damage. But I'll let you decide if it's just doing a +3 or not.
Yeah, I mean, that would work. The whole bypassing resistance. I thought it was also the... Because the Vorpal Sword has the thing where when you...
Yeah,
roll
if
a
you
crit, you cut
below,
off the
yeah.
hand.
If it's less than 50 hit points.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll decide how that, let you decide how that happens. But right now you have a Vorpal bow.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good idea. Just like, why don't you go to the right, and I'll just...
As the
Oh.
gate opens with this initial sort of hissing, there's
Look at
just
that.
this wind pressure initially. As a tiny bit of the gate opens where just all of that wind pushes. Until ring by ring the gates open.
Well, before we jump, what's the plan? Like getting a sample, killing
As
it?
you step outside, could you please roll me an initiative?
No sample needed.
Okay.
All of us roll initiative.
I would say
Assuming-
so. If you don't do anything inside, then
Yeah.
you can always just, do nothing.
Of course, this had to be my natural 20 for the day.
Oh, that's good, probably. It does give you advantage on your first attack. Holy speedster.
Damn.
This is so faint. I love when there's a split down the middle. It just looks better. It doesn't really change anything mechanically. When there's one enemy, it literally doesn't matter where it is in the initiative order, kind of fun. So, Silas, you do go first.
Uh-huh.
As you step outside, in the lessened wind pressure, you do see the head of the creature swivel towards you, almost loosely, as if the neck wasn't entirely
Whoa.
rigid.
How far away is it from me?
Well, currently 55 feet. Oh yeah, look at me forgetting again.
Oh.
The mini eject.
Oh yeah.
Where do I put it?
There's soldering over here.
Yeah. Oh, you want it on your table?
I mean, yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty
it's
big.
not,
I'm just
it's not really bad.
Ablin
Yeah, I
is a
can-
10 out of 10.
Okay, so over here on Red's table, if you want to take a look, you can drop your whatever you're trying to move around on the field, place it right in there, and it should automatically get the movement thing, which adjusts with the grid. So if you move around, it'll measure movement for you. For distance, you can still use the measurement markers
For range.
for range and stuff, for straight lines and whatnot. But if you want to just move,
Oh, how's you?
Oh lordy. It's giving me hit points, boss.
No, that'll clear in a second once Fire clears it.
Okay.
It's just easier to do it all up. Wait until everybody's done it,
yeah.
because otherwise you have to keep hitting it.
Okay. Okay.
No.
Nobody should see with hit points anymore, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, there you go.
Cool. I will use my bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark. Mark of the Void. And I mean, might as well shoot my bow 3 times while I run after Hux to jump. Jump after him whenever he decides to
First
jump.
roll is with advantage. Keep that in mind.
Right. Wow, the first one is already the best one. Well, I might as well roll for a crit, maybe? No. So I was so the lowest one is an 18 to hit.
Don't forget your weapons at +3.
Yeah, that's...
Everything hits.
Oh no, it's even a 19 then, not an 18 to hit. Yeah. So everything hits. That's good. Let me roll some damage. Start this shit with a 44 damage, piercing damage.
Okay.
And I will use my movement to run after Hux. I don't know if Hux is gonna go left or right. I will follow Hux.
Right, I think.
I think that's at least what a rat said. Jump off to the right, so I guess I'm gonna head for the right.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Okay. Red.
I suppose I'll come up here and hold my action to cast a spell. As soon as Huxley like sort of gets past me. Well, okay, let's say this. I will cast the spell before that end of my next turn when Huxley moves. So, like, I'm gonna cast it either way.
Okay.
Just for, like, so I don't lose it if the condition is in that.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. That's my turn.
Well, see, it could be a loss of a spell anyways.
Oh no.
Oh, that almost reaches inside.
But it doesn't.
It doesn't. So, could the three outside in the ship please give me a DC 18 con save? As the creature shrieks
Ooh.
this screeching whistle that pierces your ears.
That was a 20.
One of your favorite things.
That one.
You guys love thundering.
Oh my gosh.
We'll cast Absorb Element.
And that's 53 thunder damage. And anyone who failed is stunned for 1 minute. You can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of your turn.
Nice, nice, nice. On the worthy there.
So still full damage even if we saved.
If you saved, you also take half damage.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If you saved, you only take half damage and you are not stunned.
And that's 26 damage. And it was a con save for concentration, right? And half the damage was the DC?
Is this about Hunter's Mark?
Yeah.
I am going to give you this one because I will also give this to Rangers in the other campaign. You do not need to maintain concentration in front of you.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool. Well then, I just take the damage. Half the damage. Because I rolled a dirty 20.
I passed all my saves. I will still get to cast the spell.
No, it's just around. Just gonna have a dragon on the ship.
Yep. I might get knocked off the ship, possibly.
This is gonna be wild.
It'll be fine.
Can someone
I'm
throw
sure.
Huxley real quick? Anyway,
Cast explosive dragon.
What if
that
the
is
the dragon
creature's
is
turn. You see it
stunned?
sort of As you see a couple of arrows sticking into it still from Silas's initial attack, you see the arrows plop out and get lost in the wind as it seemingly appears to regenerate. Evelyn, it is your turn.
Is Hux noticeably stunned?
You probably would have seen Huxley run and then very suddenly stop and probably react instead of holding his head or off the sword. Likely holding his ears.
Alright. What's... How do you finish? Hold on, actually. Get the range. Yeah. Evelyn's going to move with her grappling hook forward to just kind of the edge of the door, 30 feet. Run up to Hux. Grab Hux. Shoot the grappling hook again to hook over the edge of the ship.
Okay.
And yeet herself and Hux off of the ship, keeping like in that direction. So
I guess that triggers the thing.
Are you still in any way?
now she's gonna let go of Hux
to the ship.
Well, probably not initially. Like,
okay. So you are also like yeeting yourself over.
Yeah, which I have wings, but yeah, okay. I am, and I'm letting go of Hux as soon as I get past the ship. Like, I don't want to be tied to Hux, as I assume the spell is going to go off.
Yes.
I'm trying to purposefully like
you are
let
both
the initial
sort of falling, so in that sense, there's enough distance you can gain vertically from each other. As Salty, Red can go ahead and release his L there to cast True Polymorph.
I'm getting back on the ship.
Turning again into a adult red dragon, as you probably find yourself tumbling just underneath it as the red dragon immediately breaks its fall by virtue of its massive wings. You are no longer stunned, Huxley, in your new form, which is very convenient timing as it is immediately your turn.
Well, I guess I'll fly up and kind of like along with the ship to be on this height. And I'm gonna exhale fire. But could it make a DC 21 dexterity saving throw?
Dexterity.
21 is a fucking IDC.
Can make it. It just needs to. Oh, no, it can't. The 20 was so close. It fails.
Need some D6s.
Yes. Am I getting multiple sides at once?
many do you need?
18.
That enough? Yep, that's 18. Oh man.
So, yeah,
62.
there's a lot of good numbers on that one.
Basically an average. Average is 63, so
Yes.
basically the average.
Okay. You see fire engulf the creature at the front of it. This plume that even in the wind maintains its forward momentum. It remains there for a good couple of seconds until your breath runs out and you see the creature remain lightly aflame, a lot of its feathers forged, significantly scorched and scarred by the fire, still clinging on to the front of the ship.
That's all I can do for now.
From what you can tell, being of still way above average intelligence as a dragon, fire was very effective. It doesn't seem to have a vulnerability for it, but it seemed more effective. You'd imagine other too.
Yeah, that's my turn.
Okay. Silas. Oh, actually, hold on. Since the turn rolls over with the dart's current speed, some things up in the air.
Would I be able to like
Actually, easier to measure from Avon.
keep track with it? I guess not quite.
You can if you turn sideways. If you want to remain
Yeah.
turned like sideways, it'd be really hard.
No, I guess I would fly like this
Yeah.
and then just bend
Yeah.
my head.
Mm-hmm. You could you have what do you have 80 feet, I think?
Yes.
Yeah. Easily paced curvy. And still somewhat underneath the ship, you are being passed by the ship. Now it is Silas' turn.
Yeah, I mean, I will move forward and jump over on the wings of the dragon.
I mean, I guess the wings are beating, so I would ask for an acrobatics check,
Sure.
just for the sake of things. Distance-wise, it wouldn't be a problem.
26.
Even in full flight, as wings beat up and down, you simply wait for the right moment as the wings pass by the side of the dart and you jump, catching on the wings on their upswing, sliding almost towards the spine of the
Oh, okay.
dragon.
While I'm sliding down, I'm gonna do the Legolas thing from Lord of the Rings, and I'm just gonna shoot arrow, arrow, arrow.
All right.
There's one natural 20 among those, and the lowest one is still a 23 to hit.
hits.
So that's an additional D8. Guess I take this one. Additional. And that double all the dice, right? So this Hunter's Mark die will also be doubled. Okay. Well,
He's got killed by the bow that I got hit by a longbow.
oh no.
Ooh.
There was warning
The
us.
arrow flicks off the creature and lands it in the draft of the wind. Exactly
Oh boy.
towards your heart.
You shouldn't have trusted me.
I knew it.
It is a
Betrayal.
in total 64 piercing
Like
damage.
that one Hollywood movie where you whatever. How much was it total?
64.
Okay.
And
Anything else?
yeah, I think. Yeah, that's
Also,
okay.
Huxley, keep in mind you do have legendary actions.
I was about to say, can
Yeah.
I take a look?
You can, in fact.
Casually.
Making a tail attack. Well, is it within 10 feet of me if I'm like flying alongside the ship?
I would say you could very easily sort of, swivel over in flight and whip your tail out.
Yeah,
So,
being
yeah.
like kind of slightly higher than the ship. Then I'll do a wing attack, so it has to make another dex save. DC 22.
22. Can only make it on the map. I love how the 5 knocked the old dice into a 20, but it doesn't count. It fails.
For 15 bludgeoning damage, and it is knocked prone.
Okay.
Just asking for a friend here. The wing attack says each creature within 10 feet of the dragon.
You do not need to make
Okay.
it. No.
Just asking
It's
for
the
a friend.
wings beating down at quite a bit of force where
Okay.
the pressure and the wind force the other creatures further down, which is what to
Cool.
I guess. But on
Cool,
the
cool,
back
cool.
of the dragon, of course, you're not in range of that attack. Okay. Then Ret.
So, that one just like took off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to like step up to the side a little bit. Oh, no, not that much, but I'll,
Wrong
like, look
person
around.
to strap your broom to, I guess.
Apparently,
I have wings.
I know you have wings. Can I spot her from here?
If you run towards
Easily.
the edge and peer over, you'd probably see her sort of fairly close still underneath the ship, just about to, tumble through the air past the engines.
Yeah. I'm gonna like swivel this thing around. Now I'm gonna go point it at her. I'm just
He's
gonna
gonna
shoot it
murder
past
me.
over this
Imagine him just completely shooting her out of.
You
just
shoot
in
it-
case
shoot
she
the
needs to grapple
harpoon
to it.
somewhat wide and
Yeah.
let the chain run free
Just in
Yes,
case she
yes.
wanted to grapple to it or needed some other assistance.
through the movement of the ship. Sort of.
It's like, yeah, I don't have my broom on.
makes
Come
a
get you.
line down
Which you can't hear
the
probably.
distance.
But, I'm sure it'll be fine. I need to go inside.
Okay. Assuming that is your
That is
turn.
my turn, yeah. It's very important that I don't drop concentration right now.
look at its screech back.
Oh, can I take another legendary action
Uh,
after rest
yes.
to make a tail attack? But it's still prone. 'Cause it being prone gives me an advantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, this dragon's really strong.
I'd hope so.
30 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit. Look how the turntables, isn't it? Remember all those
Until we
times
fight another
when
dragon.
the DM is does a 30 hit? And there we are.
For 20 bludgeoning damage.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Yeah.
Okay. As you slam into it, and as it is its turn, you can tell that there are still sort of embers glinting from fire, only one by one through the wind, slowly going out. You also notice that it doesn't appear to be regenerating at the moment, like it did earlier.
Fire.
It is going to open its beak and attack the dragon with its slimy tentacle
Ugh.
and reach from its mouth. You're welcome. Ooh, and that is a 30 to him. And a 21 to hit. Does 21 still hit?
Yeah. Only 19. AC.
The grapple does not matter, given the size difference. I don't think there is a difference between acid, right?
No, just fire. Is it?
3 plus 4. 7. You take 38 points of damage, mixed bludgeoning and acid, and then 46 damage, mixed bludgeoning and acid. You feel these tentacles sort of lash out and latching onto your wing. In the wind, and obviously the force and speed almost immediately losing their grip, but leaving behind a trail of acid that burns into your scale. And that's its turn. Evelyn.
How far below am I?
You are likely about 20 feet below the shore.
Alright, then I will fly upwards. Like to the height of the ship and a little forward.
Mm-hmm.
And then grapple onto the edge of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And pull myself up and on. And I don't care about the dangling harpoon right now. I don't want to be near this thing.
Uh-huh.
So I was debating like using a moment to like reel it back in, but I don't think I will.
It's just scratching up the side of the ship. It's not really...
Instead, I'm going to shoot another grappling hook back towards the kind of console,
Mhm.
and just grapple
As
back
you
over to
hook
here.
in and sort of foot back in, you see Vidar just almost sidestepping a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
just in case you barrel past.
Yeah.
But you land short.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Hopefully that'll be taken care of swiftly.
It looks like it.
Speaking of taking care of things swiftly, Huxley,
Mm-hmm.
it's your turn.
I'm gonna recharge the breath.
Oh,
Nope. Then instead, Hux is gonna like roar this magnificent roar and use frightful presence on the creature. If it's, I don't know if it can become frightened, but
unfortunately, that's the one condition it is immune against. As
then
you
I'll
scream
just,
and roar, it almost screeches back, but instead it just hacks.
did it
as if
stand up?
coughing.
That's turn.
Yes. So it's no longer prone, but it I mean it's not really able to stand as such. But yeah.
That is a 31 to hit for
Double
the
hit.
bite attack. And then
It's not a thing.
I assume that hits, and then a dirty 20 to hit.
That also hits.
So a total of plus 51.
Is there any specific way you want to do it?
If, since the creature doesn't seem very frightened, Huck's gonna kind of, leap onto it, scratch it twice, and then bite its head off.
Okay. You land on it, almost tilting the dart yourself a little bit. As you scratch, your claws easily sinking in with almost loose flesh and ripping its head clean off. As you do, there's again this vapor that wafts almost through the now open esophagus outside as it loses its grip slowly on the ship and begins to slide.
Push it off.
The head in your mouth, what do? You let it out, or do you?
I assume it doesn't taste very
It does
pleasant,
not. It
so
tastes very rotten.
I'm just gonna, like, kind of, cling onto the ship's side a little bit, and then, like, spit out the head onto the ship.
Mm-hmm. You said you pushed the rest off, or do you just
Yeah.
leave it to?
That was so cool, Hux.
With a quick movement, you see as Vidal almost already begins to move towards the lever, as the creature's carcass begins to slide towards the opening of the gate. You see Huxley simply push the carcass over the side as it tumbles into the cloud.
The victory roar.
You are the best dragon I've ever seen.
Yes! This is amazing!
Inside, you see Vidar for a moment just holding his ears as Outside, a dragon roars.
Mm-hmm.
At least it should prove useful the next time we actually need to capture one of these. Unless he burns it first.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I guess I should reel that back in.
You hear this clinking as you draw this entire chain back.
Huxley! Huxley!
Whew.
Yoo-hoo, Huxley! Was there anything else up there? Oh,
Look around while I make another round of.
You crane your neck upwards, looking out for first time in a while. And above you don't see anything except the clouds rolling past. Similar to Evelyn, you do not see any shadows cast by anything following you.
Nothing.
okay. I wonder what I was looking at. If it was looking at anything.
Hux left the head out there.
Yeah.
Is the head still on the deck?
It's probably slid a good bit forward and likely gotten stuck on like the base of the cannon.
How big is it?
If it were rubber and you were to stretch the beak lengthwise, it would probably be about 4 feet long. However, with how curled it is, probably more like 3 feet in length, and then almost like the tusk of an elephant curls heavily near the end.
Mm-hmm. Can Evelyn attempt to collect any sample from the head?
Go ahead and roll me a medicine.
Be my pleasure. That's a. It's only a 19.
While you're not extraordinarily successful, you do have a easy source of an organic specimen readily available as you examine this sheared off head by simply cracking the skull open and extracting its brain.
Wonderful. I will take that. She will make her way back in. Kind of glancing at Red. I'm pretty sure that it's now technically Hux's watch.
Okay, well, take the first hour as a dragon, I guess. Huxley, be back on deck, like, I don't know, in a while, so you can change back.
Okay.
Unless you don't care today, but we don't have anywhere to land, so.
Enjoying the flying.
I mean, I'm on your back, so I guess I'm gonna join you enjoying this.
You can roll me a perception roll with advantage.
As a dragon, it has
Plus 13.
Plus 30, Jesus Christ.
That's a passive of 23.
By the way, since the level up, my passive has gone up to from 23 to 25, and passive
I don't
is
even want to hear it. Keep it to yourself. Kidding.
well, that's a 21.
Okay. As you fly around, you notice no further signs of any life forms around you. You do, however, notice that the sort of pillar of clouds, the storm in the distance, doesn't appear to be a single storm. The closer you look, the more you notice the clouds churning along the same wall in these separated pillars. There are multiple storms, a whole cluster of them, close up against each other, collected in the distance. The dart flies a good bit south, and likely an hour or so after you unfortunately have had to turn back from the adult red dragon, you would notice the dart changing course once again taking a route that would lead it closely past the storm. Soon, afternoon passes, and just as the sun fades, leaving the clouds in shadow, slight rain begins to fall upon the ship.
I suppose it's Are we rotating back again for night watches?
So wasn't?
Are we gonna rotate again for night watches?
Are you keeping watch at night?
I don't know. I guess we'll ask Vidar.
I mean, we have to check at night
That would
just as well.
depend entirely up to you. It will be difficult regardless to see any forms of life in the night.
Yeah.
If you choose to, I will not stop you, of course. There is a good chance with the means at our disposal you might still be able to see something. But I had not planned for it.
I think we should do it. I mean, this thing screeched so loud. Maybe it helps if we just listen. If there's gonna be storms, maybe they will have like lightning too, and then there's light for a second, and then maybe we see something. And I guess it doesn't hurt to keep an eye out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. You keep the same rotation for night watches?
Yep, I say yes.
Yeah, that's fine. I guess I've never asked this. When I put up the mansion and the door's open, can you see, like, out of it? Like, can you see it through the portal?
That's a good question. I would say that while you have it open, like the door open, you'd be able to look through.
Okay. I think then I might just put it like. So are we going slow enough that we're keeping watches on deck? I guess is the question.
Evelyn's not gonna be on deck.
As you're not
It's raining.
able to
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of high speed blast off anywhere, the dart would likely keep its somewhat slower speed. It'll be flying a lot faster than it would while you're doing combat, but it'd be easy enough to stand outside against the wind and hold on to something.
I'm thinking of just like putting the mansion portal right, like here-ish, so that we could like see out of it at night even. Or maybe like, well, does Vidar keep the door open or closed?
Really?
If nobody's outside, he'd probably keep it on.
I don't know. What does everybody think? Just so like we're all like
How much
easily
surface do you
accessible.
need?
Just 5 feet,
How tall is it though?
10 feet.
Okay. It has to be on a surface.
Yes.
I don't like these questions.
Well, no, I was more saying like if it doesn't have to be on the surface, you could just kind of float it right in front of the gate, like without being on the gate, so that you could then look out the gate that way.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, we could.
You could
yes.
still look through the. Either way, you'd have a fairly narrow field of view.
Right.
But you could do it that way, and you
I'm
can
just-
see out.
I'm just thinking so we're all like close.
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
something does go on, instead of being like way down in the hole or something. So yeah, sure. Let's just put it right.
Okay. You place it in front of the gate.
And then we can do our watches like looking out of it, or if someone wants to, obviously we can walk out of it. It'll be a narrow field of view, either way, but, you know, at least for someone's awake.
And go ahead and roll me perception rolls for your watch.
I think everybody is.
That was fitting.
Is that a 3?
Yeah. Everyone hates watch duty. It's the most boring thing ever. She barely pays attention, so that is so fitting.
I had a pretty
like mind
cool. I had a
sharing.
pretty cool number.
Oh my fucking god.
I rolled a
This is why she's like, why
natural
don't we bother
19.
looking? Somebody else will see. Even while they're sleeping, they'll still see. Tyler sees everything.
He's got
Oh,
the
so
eyes of a
like
cat.
his bed. I see with my cat eyes.
Silas,
Mm-hmm.
as your watch begins, as you all start sort of settling down into your number, almost exactly as you described. Far in the distance, far in the front of the dart, you see the flash of lightning, and you see a shadow. painted against the clouds.
I will immediately turn to Vidar. I saw something. I saw a shadow in the clouds. Just when the
Where?
lightning... Over there.
You see Vidar sort of almost move a little behind you to measure the angle of where you are pointing and adjust the dart. Throughout your watch, you continue to fly in that direction. Every now and then, whenever there is a distant flash of lightning, you catch these very short glimpses of it. Much like the dart itself, as the dart speeds up, this thing is moving fast. And by the time the dart catches up to it, it easily keeps pace with the dart. You notice it dodging and weaving, clearly already aware of your presence, as it slowly comes into view. As it does, do you alert the others?
I will surely do that.
Okay.
All of
What's...
your long rests, unfortunately, an hour or so in, after a short rest, a nap, you are already awoken by silence entering into the magnificent. And before we roll initiative, this is a great place to call it.
Mhm.
You sort of skip straight ahead with a 34 perception.
Oh,
It's
whoopsie.
like, this DC is 30, they're never gonna hit that. Okay, he
Oh, the DC was actually
4.
30. Oh god.
Oh my god. Yeah, because it was nighttime, you know.
Yeah.
It was so difficult. It was 30, and 34.
I was like, nah, don't take watches at night.
It was like, yeah, what is a night? That's an extra. That's an extra plus 10 right there. Oh no, it's never gonna work out. My face when it immediately works out. All right.
Cool
What are you
session.
gonna
You
do?
guys.
Thank you, beggar.
Thank you. We're gonna actually have to like fight this thing, like honestly.
No dragons.
No dragons.
We'll see. We'll see next time.
I can't
Yeah.
even give you.
You guys cost yourself your own long
Dragon,
rest.
I
Yeah.
know.
Right.
I got no
right.
Vorpal blade for you either, so.
Well deserved.
Looks like some kind of firebird.
Looks like maybe Vidal can finally move his ass and do something.
All right.
Steering the ship.
Sure. Cause we
When you
can't
all
do that.
jump off the ship.
Nobody
Uh,
can steer the ship.
no, he can jump off the ship if he wants to.
Wow.
He's just got wings.
Possibilities that they come.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
can.
but ours got wings.
You
Yeah.
guys just today got complimented on how good of a friend you guys are to the Such good friends.
Look,
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm talking a lot of shit, but there wasn't really. I never really let him down, did I?
It's true.